Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about two things. One is for loops and second is while loops. So let's get started. So first we're going to talk about what for loops are. So basically for loops are a way of iterating over a sequence. So first, what I'm going to do is assign a variable that says a to a string that just say ABC. Okay, ABC. So let's just say that I want to print every single number out. So I want to say something like print, okay, A, print B, print, and print C. And as you can see here, this took a lot of time. And as you can see here, it's not really that efficient. So what we can do is introduce for loops. So like I said before, for loops are basically iterating over a sequence. So what we can do is say for I in A, okay, and print I. So let's just stop here and let's just talk about what this does. So the reason why I put for is because I want to access the for loop, of course, and the reason why I put I is because what I is doing is I is holding all the characters in ABC. Okay, so whenever I print I right here, print statement, whenever I print I, what it's going to do is it's going to print the letter A. Okay, whenever it prints out, it's going to delete the letter A. Okay, delete this part and move on to the next character, which is B. So after when B was printed, it's going to move on to C and delete the B. Okay, so next after I, it's just in A. The reason why I have to say in A because I want to access the for loop in the character. Okay, so whenever we run code, it's gonna say A, B, C, and that is much quicker rather than taking around like 20 lines of code. And this I only did it in 2 lines of code. So now we messed with strings. Of course, you can also do it with integers too. So the way that you can do this is first, I'm just going to say for I. Remember what I does? I is holding all the numbers or characters that they are. So you would say for I in range. Okay, you use a range function. So the way that you do this is first inside the range, I just want to print the number between 12. Okay, 0 to 12. So when I say 12 and say print I, okay, print I, it's going to print 12. But as you can see here, it didn't print 12. Well, the reason why it didn't print 12, because what Python is doing is it's going to start from the letter 0, okay, start from the letter 0, and end whenever it reaches the letter 12. But as you can see here, it iterated 12 times. And let's just say that we want to print something from like 3, the number 3 from letter 13. Okay, so the way that we can do this is first 3, 12. So what it's going to do is it's going to start from letter 3 and end whenever it reaches the number 12. So when I run code, it should print out from 3 to 11, because remember the reason why it's not printing 12 is because what Python is doing, whenever it reaches the number 12, it's going to stop. Okay, so it's going to print from 3 to 11. And of course, you can also put if and else statements. So I can say something like if I is equal to 3, okay? Remember, double equal to compares two objects, okay? So if I is equal to 3, I'm going to say print 3 was found, okay? So we run code. First, it's going to say 3 it was found because it said if I was 3. So I'm just going to change this and just say 6. So it's going to say 3, 4, 5. And forgot to change 3 to 7. Okay, so it's going to say 3, 4, 5. It's going to 6 was found. Then it's going to say 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And of course, you can put multiple if and else statements. So I can say else if I is equal to 10, print 10 was found. Okay, so now it's gonna print 3, 4, 5, 6 was found. Okay, 6. Then it's gonna say 7, 8, 9, 10 was found, and it's gonna say 10 and 11. So let's just say that we want to break out whenever it reaches some number. Okay, so I want to say if I is equal to 10, what I can say is use a statement, built-in statement that says break. So what it's gonna do is it's gonna stop whenever it says 10. Okay, it's gonna override this data. It's not gonna look at this statement. It's only gonna look at this statement because I said if I is equal to 10, it's gonna break this. So it's not gonna print from 10 to 11 because I said if I is equal to 10, I told it to break out, of course. So when I print this, it's just gonna say 3, 4, 5, 6 was found, 6, then 7, 8, 9. And here I'm just gonna say print I am breaking. Okay, so it's gonna say 3, 4, 5, 6 was found, 6, 7, 8, 9, I am breaking. So it's gonna break out. And that's how we would use for loops. So now we're gonna talk about while loops. So basically while loops are basically it's gonna execute whatever is inside the loop as long as the statement is true. So for example, I can say something like, I'm just gonna say I is equal to 1, okay? So I'm gonna say while I is smaller than, let's just say 10, okay? I'm just gonna say print hello. So we run code. As you can see here, it goes in a infinite loop. So what we can do is just increment. So basically, the reason why it went inside a infinite loop is because 1 is always smaller than 10, of course. So what we can do is first we can increment I every single time. So you can say I is equal to I plus 1. So when I run code, it's gonna print hello unlimited amount of times, which is, I said, 10 times. So it's gonna print I 10 times. So it's gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But it's not 10 though. The reason is because when it reaches, it's gonna stop whenever it sees the word 10. So we can say if I is greater than or equal to 10, it's gonna print out 10 times. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5, this is 6, this is 7, this is 8, this is 9, and this is 10. And that's an example of while loops. So another example is instead of printing stuff, we can say something like I is equal to I plus 1, okay? And I'm just gonna say print I, okay? Print I. So it's gonna print from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 10, and 11. Well, as you can see here, the reason why it print 11 is because what we said was I equal to I plus 1, right? So whenever it reaches 10, it's gonna check if 10 is greater than 10. So when it's true, it's gonna imprint 1. And also the reason why I said 2 because I said I is equal to 1. So I can set, when I say I is equal to 0, it's gonna say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And that's how we use while loops. You may be wondering what's the difference between for loops and while loops. Well, there's actually a lot. The main difference is that for loops, you tell how many times it should repeat. So I'm just gonna say something like for I in range and say 10 times. Okay, remember you need the colon to let Python know that this is where we're gonna start. So I'm gonna say something like print hello. So it's gonna print hello 10 times, of course. And this is more efficient. This method is more efficient rather than using while loops. So remember, for loops are a way of iterating the number of times that you tell it to repeat. And while loops are basically it's gonna repeat until this statement is true. So I can say something like I is equal to 3. So I can say while I I can say something like while I is smaller than 6, and remember the colon to let Python know that this is where it's going to start. So I'm just going to say print I. And I have to increase I every single time because I have to let because if I don't, it's just gonna go in an infinite loop because 3 is always smaller than 6, of course, right? So it's just gonna go in an infinite loop right there. So let me just stop this by clicking this trash can button right there. So I can say I is equal to I plus 1. But instead of saying I is equal to I plus 1, what I can actually do is just say I is I plus equal to 1. So this thing is the same thing as saying I is equal to I plus 1. Okay? So you can either use this one, but this is more quicker and more efficient to use. So I run code, it should say 3, 4, 5. Because I said, so what it's going to do is it's going to substitute I for 3. Okay, it's going to say 3. And when it gets the new value, which is 3 plus 4, it's going to see if this statement is true. Okay, if this statement is true, it's going to iterate. It's going to iterate until the statement is false. And that's the main difference between for loops and while loops. If you like this video, please hit the like button as well as subscribe to my channel because I'll be doing more Python tutorials in the future, like if and else statements, for loops, while loops, and many other basic stuffs. So see you soon.